welcome to Sci-Fi Night. I'm your host, Sebastian Meno Martinez, and this is a show where we take a look at some of the lesser known sci-fi and horror movies out there and try to find the right expectations needed to get the most out of them. So, have you guys ever wondered what would happen if you mixed a ton of bloody violence into Power Rangers? Well, you're about to find out. The Guyver 2 Dark Hero is a 1994 film that's technically a sequel to a very boring live adaptation of a Japanese anime. The story revolves around evil aliens called zoonoids who, as most evil aliens, want to conquer and control the world. An alien suit known as the Guyver is then bestowed upon a human who uses the suit to fight off the zoonoids and protect humanity. The first live-action adaptation of the story came out in 1991, and it's basically just boring, dull, and long. In fact, it's so boring that it's not really worth talking about. The sequel that came out 3 years later managed to pull off something a lot of sequels don't. It managed to outdo the original big time. So, how does this sequel manage to be so much better than the original? Well, it's a combination of better actors, better action, and tons more violence, blood, and gore. Yeah, that's right. Or the first film was rated PG-13, this is rated R. And that's exactly the way we want it. Yeah, this film is rightfully rated R because our hero basically murders a defenseless criminal in the opening scene.
Please, don't kill me, just arrest me.
The movie follows the same heroes in the last movie, who is this time played by a much more charismatic David Hayter, also known as the voice of Solid Snake from the Metal Gear Solid series.
Can you shoot me, rookie?
He's still trying to hunt down the zoonoids, a quest that leads him to an archaeological dig that may very well unearth secrets of both the zoonoids and the Guyver suit itself. All while Hayter struggles with how the suit seems to be causing him to make increasingly dark and violent decisions.
How many people are you gonna have to kill before you realize?
I don't kill. It kills.
So that might sound a little complicated, and especially considering it's a sequel, but you don't really need to understand the plot in order to get a lot out of this movie. All you need to know is that there's a superhero with swords coming out of his arms, and he uses them to fight monsters in really bloody, violent ways. As opposed to the dull first film, the action really shines in the sequel. Considering the big and bulky suits that the actors were wearing, the action and stunt work is downright amazing. It's like a super violent version of Power Rangers. You know, the kind of version that we all really secretly wanted to see deep down. This shouldn't be too surprising though, seeing as the stunt coordinator of the film is none other than Koichi Sakamoto, who was the stunt coordinator for several Power Rangers films and episodes. And it's very interesting to see how violently awesome the Power Rangers could have been with a higher rating.
Get away from the zoonoid! Where did you come from? I destroyed all of you!
When the action's not going down, the film is still perfectly serviceable, and you don't need to see the first film to understand this one either. David Hayter does a fine job as our protagonist, and the other actors do enough to keep the story going when people aren't getting stabbed or kicked in the face. Really, there's not a whole lot more that can be said. Don't go into this film expecting some kind of grand sci-fi action adventure, because that's not what you're going to get. You're getting Power Rangers on steroids. Now, the film sure is rough around the edges, and while the practical effects and costumes were at least on par for the time the film was made, they don't really hold up quite as well today. Overall though, this is a very fun film with some great action sequences and stunt work that is downright commendable. These guys pull off some awesome action with huge suits, wire work, and old-fashioned stunts, as opposed to tons of digital effects and shaky cams so you can't actually see what's going on. Yeah, that's right, I'm looking at you, Michael Bay. As long as you're a sci-fi fan who doesn't require an engaging plot or Oscar-winning performances to have fun, then this should in all fairness be a great popcorn flick. So, what should you expect from this film? A complete upgrade from the first. So this is one of those rare cases where the sequel one-ups the first in pretty much every single way. Action, story, pacing, characters, editing, everything is done better in the sequel. So basically, there's no real need to see the first film. You get everything you need and want from the sequel, aside from a pretty tired performance from Mark Hamill. Yeah, I guess you'd have to see the first film to see Luke Skywalker being completely bored and having a mustache. Awesome action. The action in this film is hardly groundbreaking, but for a sequel to a low-budget American film based on a Japanese manga, this is great. If you ever watched Power Rangers or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and longed for some more violence, then this is perfect for you. Little else of value. So while I can praise the action and stunt work all day, the rest of the film is okay. David Hayter is much better than the sleeping pill that was Jack Armstrong in the first film. The effects and costumes look fine in context, though there are some signs of rust over the years. Basically, the action is a clear high note to this film, which doesn't make everything else bad, just not as good. So if you go into this film expecting a fun, pretty cheesy sci-fi action, then that's a perfect mindset for this. Because you have to keep in mind that it does have a bit of rust around the edges, and it's hardly a flawless film. But if you go in there just expecting fun action, then really you could do a whole lot worse than this. So if you expect anything more than fun action sci-fi, then you'll probably be disappointed. Also, I should just go ahead and state that I never saw any of the Japanese anime or read the manga that it's based on. I'm basing my opinion on this film solely as a sci-fi fan. So that does it for this episode of Sci-Fi Night. We hope you enjoyed it. I'm your host, Sebastian Metal Martinez, and have you guys seen Guyver 2 Dark Hero? It's a pretty cool film. If you guys have, please let us know in the comments below. While you're down there, you might as well click the like and subscribe button to help the show out and stay updated with it. And as always, we'll catch you guys next week.